in an industry that has many caveats, many realms, many areas, you better know what you're talking about. It's important to have the experts that can do it. Stay tuned for that. Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. Yours truly, the Cardinal Cowboy. I get to talk to experts and gurus and really smart people, smarter than me. That's why they say if you're going to be successful, you don't have to be the smartest guy. Surround yourself with the smarter people that'll make sure this gets done. But literally, like there are so many. I was kind of struck. That's why I had that intro for the second show. We had a great first half-hour discussion here with our leader in the building here, Jason Davis. Let me put that up for everybody. There it is. And I was like, wow, there's just a lot that goes into this. And if you're going to do construction at the level you're doing it at, you better have your hands, you better be able to say, oh, that's not being done right. Oh, that you need to tune that. Oh, there's something there that we got to work on. Right. Because if you cut corners on any of these things, you can cause big problems. Gas lines, electrical work, those are things you don't want to, plumbing, don't cut corners on roofs.
Don't make a mistake. Roofs, yes.
Don't cut corners in those areas.
Right.
Well, we talked a little bit about that and lead me up to, because I told you, remember what you were finishing that first half hour with, but great discussion there. Watch that show. If you missed it on ABC, watch it on our YouTube channel. But I remember now the topic was people often, you can't help but have a big job, a construction. You do construction of full homes, right? Mm-hmm. Build a house from scratch. People want to make changes along the way, and those cost money. Tell me how that ends up being something you have to help with a consumer, a home builder.
So on my end, what I had learned early in mistakes is people always ask you to estimate the cost. And if you do that, they hold you pretty accountable, whether they say they will or not. But I had asked, we were building a pretty elaborate tree house, and a lot of detail in the tree house, and they asked me a change order to put a walk-in shower. And so I told them I'd do the walk-in shower, and just thinking normal tile and things, and he had brought me back some slate tiles, very small slate tiles, and then he wanted a diagonal staggered pattern with an octagon window and some insets and a bench. So if you go from standard tile to doing these mini tiles that aren't mat mounted, and it just takes a lot more time. So I had to finish it. Obviously, you know, you didn't make any money on that job, but you got to finish. And so sometimes the homeowners make the same mistake. They think just adding a deck or a window or changing the tile is the same cost. It isn't. It just, time is probably the most expensive. Your labor, payroll taxes, insurance on top of all that, the longer it takes. It's not just the material, it's the labor that it takes. So probably that's the biggest mistake, is underestimating changes and some of the costs of that business. And I have to be pretty detailed, because a walk-in shower isn't a walk-in shower. I mean, there's some people like very ornate tile details, and some just want big squares.
Yeah, so you're talking about the difference between laying, and you said it was not mat, so then you're like putting the little pieces in there for each frame of the
each frame,
little piece of the
cutting out centers and insetting little squares off of the mats, and just extensive amounts of time, because all the spacing, and you want it to look nice when you're finished, and that's a lot different from putting 12 by 12 tiles for the whole shower. So several hours difference.
Yeah, those 12 by 12 inch, right? You're saying?
Yes.
Those will be easy to put in, and they look beautiful when they're done. But if you want those ornate, detailed,
yes,
ceramics and its other pieces, then that's just a lot more detail. I can't imagine. But yeah, somebody's saying, "Oh yeah, I want that now," and they thought about it. And that's labor more than anything.
Labor and time.
Labor, so, yeah. That's a very important way to look at all of our time is valuable, everybody. Well, then, your focus is residential, and you say you do a lot of commercial. What would you say? How do you split that up?
So probably commercial is just what's offered. Commercial, residential, you have a lot more opportunity. Commercial, you're bidding against more people. But commercial is easier in the sense costs are higher, but it's easier than the sense you do follow the blueprints. Whatever's on the blueprints, that's what you do. And so there's no changes, no modifications. If it's modifications, they are pretty much, they understand about the costs and the change. But residential, if a homeowner's involved, sometimes it's almost daily changes. You know, we've had to build chimney flues for stoves, build it so the wife can see it, and if she doesn't like it, we tear it back down and go back. You don't run into that on commercial.
Right.
So unfortunately, and I may catch a lot of flack, but it's hard for women to picture things until you build it. But it costs to build it and take it down and redo it.
Yeah.
And so that's the aspect of it. Commercial, pretty cut and dried. Follow the plans, do your job quick, get it done, in and out. That's it.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably difficult for anybody to picture it. The lady, though, is often the one who decides
Right.
what it is that's going to be done. But yeah, how do you imagine that's the way it's going to look until you see it? Because even if the 3D renderings or whatever, they don't exactly have the lighting effects and the
Colors and shading and yeah.
all of what goes into that. Interesting. Tell me then a time when you've been in a situation where you really had to help a client.
Probably one of our recent projects down in Arkansas. A former sniper for the United States, and he became a chaplain, but he was injured overseas, and so he was trying to hire a contractor in Missouri, which was us, and do it remotely. Well, he had hired some others, and if somebody's doing remote, it's easier for a contractor to take advantage of them, and some previous ones had taken advantage of them and cost him a lot of money and didn't finish the job. We were able to go down there, and it's been a long process because he's spent a lot of time in the hospital, but we just became good friends, and even being remote, we completed the job. And he just recently told us, I had lunch with him yesterday, and he said, Jason, if we didn't hire you as a contractor, said we would have went bankrupt. And so, he's done his career, he's done his work, he's done his service in the military, and he's just trying to take that and finish somewhere and not able to be there. And, we did what we said, and we helped him out. And he continues to tell us every time we go down there now, we're finishing up the project. And the last 2 weeks that we've been down there, every day his wife fixes the whole crew dinner and lunch. So we eat lunch with him, and he's just a really nice guy, and just been able to help him, not only on the physical side, but on the spiritual side, and established a friendship. Try not to take advantage, of people that you think have a good career. So
Yeah, well, that's an interesting story, too. So somebody that went from a sniper, literally was like, hey, get out of the way, we're taking you down from the military over serving our country into a chaplain that
yes,
now has to consult people. I guess he's kind of been on both sides of that. He can talk about that a little bit.
right.
But he was one of the easier clients to work with, but you went out of your way to help him a little bit, you feel?
Yeah, because it was a little distance to travel, and he did have some changes. And he told me, he said he didn't really know what he wanted, and then his wife is from the Philippines, so she had some elaborate design inside, and we were able to accomplish it. I mean, he made the adjustments and tried to talk out the cost, and the guys kind of finished up the living room for Thanksgiving. We got it finished before Christmas, so he's able to have his family over, and he's seems to be walking fine. He's found treatment. He would get up every morning and actually contemplated. He asked the doctors about 2 months ago to just let him die. He was in that much pain.
Oh, wow.
And I think by getting his house done, it helped him as well, because his house is finished. He can have family over, and he just has a new outlook now. And that's part of what we do. We're not there just to build. I understand that the Lord opens doors for other reasons that we can help him in other ways.
Yeah, the big picture in life. That's why a lot of people, after they understand why I do this, they're like, so you were in a coma. Oh, that'll change your perspective on life.
It'll change your perspective, yes.
It helped me to realize, what matters. And my parents, I was fortunate to have parents that were both involved with education and very religious, Christian background. And they said, hey, you help people, you do right. Not the money, all the money in the world isn't what makes you happy. It's doing what's right to help people. And
Right.
then if you have somebody to answer to after this, then they will say, hey, you did good by my creatures.
The bigger picture, yes.
Strategy that a lot of people, we don't talk about enough in our communities and culture, but something we definitely should emphasize. Tell me then, as a business owner, I'm sure there's been times when you've had challenges in the business, and give me an example of a challenge that made you guys stronger, something that obviously you're still here, so at a time when you were like, oh wow, we didn't expect to see that coming.
Probably the biggest challenge, and from what I've learned over is people also feel like that in the end, if they don't have the money, they don't have to pay you, even if you do the job right and you finish the job. And thankfully, not recently, but we've had some people, they get to the end, they've spent more than what they thought. And so you get to the end and you think, now what? They're not going to pay you for what you've done. And one year we had a couple of those, and it just about finished us as a business. And
wow.
In wondering what to do, you can go to court and things, but sometimes it just isn't the right thing. And it wasn't the right thing, but that's a challenge. Overcoming some of those hurdles that people think that you're trying to take advantage of when you're really not. It's just circumstances, changes that they've made, and they don't want to do their part. If somebody doesn't want to do their part, sometimes it's a hard settlement. It's difficult to figure it out.
Yeah, wow, that's a tough one, because you're trying to get the work done, and if it tightens up the budgets in your business, I've been there not too long ago, realizing we're doing the work, we've done what we've promised, and then they're like, well, we think we need to think about it. Like, wait a minute, the thinking part was in the past. We made an agreement here, and how often is that the case? And so going to that close to like, oh wow, am I going to continue doing this? But you came through it. You think that particular instance, those couple, they made you stronger and helped you learn?
That was the main thing. That was what helped my communication, because we finished the house, and it was in my contract, no floor covering, but he thought I had to pay for some of the floor covering, so he took me to court. So we went to court, and we were going through the plans and things, and I had asked the homeowner, said he brought the plans, so he brought them and showed them to the judge, presented them to the judge, and I asked the judge if I could see the plans, and I looked, and he had changed the dimensions of the house. We built the house bigger than what the plan said, so he altered the plans to make him think that it was supposed to be. So I asked the judge, I said, Judge, can I see those plans? And she allowed me to come out. I looked, and I said, he changed the dimensions of the house. And he, on his own, testified, he said that doesn't matter. If you add square footage, that should matter, correct?
Yeah, I was just saying, once you've determined this is
right.
That changes a lot of stuff. You're talking about, how do you fit the flooring, especially, and how many squares, and the roof, and
we added 500 square feet top and bottoms. That's 1,000 square feet, and he said it didn't matter on the costs. But at that part, that made me a stronger person to communicate better, to realize, and it was a pretty big hit to our business at the time. But needless to say, he didn't win the lawsuit, because we had done everything that we had said. But that's a difficult part. People not understanding you can't add 1,000 feet to your house and not affect the cost.
1,000 feet, the average house is 2,500.
2,500.
Yeah, if you got a 3,000 square foot house, you're adding a third of the house. It's going to make it a 4,000 square foot house instead of a 3,000.
Right.
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference. So to look at them in the eye, if you pass them in town, and not hold a grudge, is difficult. So that's how you. At the end of the day, I want to be able to drive through town, wave at people, smile, and if we have a disagreement, come to good stance. But we'll stand behind what we do, and make it work.
Yeah, I like what you said there about being around in the community. I went to a particular off the beaten path place last night by chance, and we didn't even realize we pulled up and they had the name wrong. I won't say who it was. And we got there. Oh yeah, I've been here before. I walk in, and there's a couple friends, and they come up, and this one guy, hey, is it Cardinal Cowboy? Hey, how you doing? I just see you at the Cardinal game. But that's the kind of reputation you want to have, so people will come up and enjoy seeing you.
Right.
Because if you've ever, it's St. Louis and Springfield and Kansas City, I know St. Louis is the joke is that we're the smallest big town, or the biggest small town out there. We're just a big town. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody communicates. Is it similar to that down there where you're at?
It is.
You better treat people right.
Yes, it's a lot of people from out of state in the last couple of years moved in, but for the most part, you drive down through town and you wave to everybody. And that's not somebody out to get you. It's just somebody that you know or run into in a restaurant, and you've got to live there and buy your groceries there. And so you want to have a good reputation. Yeah,
reputation is very important. How do you develop and maintain that integrity to keep the good, high quality for everybody that we're all talking about? With that, we've got some fun here. We got to hang out with Babe Ruth's grandson, my buddy Ed Wheatley. Shout out to Ed, and invited us to his event down at the Missouri Athletic Club again, and there he was, Babe Ruth's grandson. So a little fun. We'll start off there, and more fun we'll show you what we've got going on in our community. Check it out. Recording? Hello, everybody. Carter Ruth with Tom Stevens. Babe Ruth's grandson came here to the Browns 41st dinner for the St. Louis Browns Association. Tell me then, if you don't mind, Tom, I'm going to put my clip on you here. What does it mean? What does Babe's legacy for baseball mean to you?
Wow, it's everything to me, really. As I mentioned in my remarks, there's never been a time that Babe was not a part of my life in some form. And now that I'm retired, I benefited so much throughout my life through my relationship with him, the experiences that we've had, that now I kind of want to pay it back and just try and Spread the gospel of Babe Ruth wherever I go.
Well, we have it right here. If you want to find out more information, Babe Ruth Central, that's the website that's dedicated to Babe and shares his legacy.
It is.
Awesome. John Goodman portrayed Babe in a great movie that we saw that literally, I like what they talked about in Babe's history, helping kids and his great support for a lot of kids.
Yes.
Is that a big part of his memory for you?
Oh, yes, very much so. Yeah, the humanity, and that's one of the things that I really like to emphasize is the humanitarian side of Babe's activities and what he did. Because it's, you can't really go to a website or read about this stuff,
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for coming to this event. Ed was on our show recently. How you doing, Ed? There he is. We're going to have Ed back on again soon, everybody. Thanks. It's your old castle show.
His name is Carter Rethwich.
Cool.
But in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up. Well, there we have it. Like I said, lots of fun stuff. It was fun talking to Babe Ruth's grandson. You know, talk about the most historic player in the history of baseball. A lot of people would argue. Played for the Red Sox and then played for the Yankees. He was actually a pitcher back in the day, but his Babe did a lot of good stuff in the community. A lot of people didn't realize, and he kind of was known for that. And then the actor that played his part in the movie called The Babe, he's up on the wall up there, everybody. John Goodman, who my mom taught John Goodman drama in high school. And then he went down to Southwest and went to Missouri State, Southwest Missouri State at the time, and the rest is history. And we all know and love our favorite actors, including John Goodman. But tell me, as a matter of technology and media, how has the world changed? We talk a little bit about it. Here's our book, everyone. It's called Magnetized Media. With Cardinal Cowboy wrote the foreword here, and I just gave some good insight. These guys called me and said, "Hey, man, we got to have you write this because you've mastered how to use media." But these guys give some incredible tips, and this is a #1 seller on Amazon. If you're looking for resources to help promote your business. How has technology changed the way you run your business now, Jason?
Makes it more efficient. Used to, we'd have to call either in the morning or at night. And I was talking to my guys the other day. My cell phone used to be hooked up to my horn. So if my cell phone rang, my horn honked, so you'd go run into the truck to answer the phone. But you can order just about anything in speed. Call, you're there on the job, hands-on. You can talk to contractors, your crew, and just minute by minute you can be involved. If you need a new product, or sometimes if you don't know how to do something, you can Google it.
Do that Google search. Now they're doing the Chat
search.
GPT. It'll give you all instructions about how to fix it too.
That's it.
And so technology, you think, has made it is for the betterment of it.
It's for the better, yes. More efficient.
Has it made it easier for you to promote yourself too? Word of mouth. You do a lot on Facebook. You got an up and coming website. Do you think the world has now moved too far that way, or you still get to meet with people face to face? I guess.
Ultimately face to face. But in this day and age, they want to know who you are. They want to know a little bit about you, what you've done, and it's not like the first call in the old days. They have you over and have you build a house. People are a little more skeptical, want to see what's happening, and so that helps.
Yeah, these days, the reputation, the reviews, that A+ rating you've got on the first show we showed that. Those are things that make a big difference for people, because they do. If they're going to spend, what's the average job for you? $30,000-$50,000 sometimes, I'd say.
Probably $150,000.
$150,000. Okay. Yeah, I might want to learn a little bit about. That's why we do the show, everybody. So because big guys, they spend a lot of money and blast you with all kinds of marketing and check this out and watch these clips and all that stuff. But here we've got a full half-hour sit down where we can talk about it, get to know somebody, and you can see obviously Jason knows what he's doing. And this will be on YouTube after it airs on ABC for everybody to take a look at it, depending when we put that up there. But all right, tell me the process then. By now, somebody's got to be looking at this going, Jason knows what he's doing, got the family here, you know what you got going on. What's the process for somebody? They look you up, they can find you on their social media, get your phone number, website, then they call you. Take me from there, what happens?
So they call me and we just set up an initial interview, and probably the first thing everybody's concerned about is cost. They know a little bit about you by the time they've contacted you, and then just see where they're at cost and then schedule. So I try to be where I am trying to improve is on my schedule, and that's very difficult. But if see if it fits their schedule and what they're trying to do, and if we can't meet that, then probably do something a little bit different. But probably scheduling is the biggest thing.
Yeah, we use a scheduling app that gives me alerts and coordinates and synchronizes and gives you an update. Did you get a text message from us that said, by the way, you're meeting?
Yes.
And those are the things we like to do, because if you're not coordinating, your time is money and the most valuable asset that we all have. And so scheduling, that's another technology piece. So once they've got it scheduled with you, you go meet with them. You can call that an interview, and you're going to sit down with them and say, hey, walk us through what you want. You create a bid for them, come back to them. Sometimes give you the bid on site. Sometimes you got to come back
usually I can get fairly close. I try to see what type of details that they're going to involve in their process. But and then if I know most people today in television shows, they want plans. Plans are pretty expensive. Most of the time we do a lot without plans. So just try to see what they are, and if we need to have plans designed, then begin the step to try and get the project started, and give them a general timeline when we'll be there.
Yeah, plan things out a little bit, because these days, time is back to time is money. That's true for just about any situation.
Right.
But let's show off some of the work you've got. You got a lot of great pictures over here. I'm gonna slide over here to this is all the pictures you got right now on the Facebook page, and they give you some live updates here. Essentially, we've got some really cool looking machinery. You've got some rafters. Wow, you've got some cement.
Yeah, that's one of the churches we had built.
Which one should I click on for that?
Up there with the cross in the center.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay, yeah. Tell me about this particular job.
So they were adding on, the church was growing, and we had remodeled this man's house for him. And after that, they decided to add on to their church, and anytime he has a building project, he calls us. So we added on the church, and he had this window specially made, and so we took a picture of it before the completion.
Gotcha, yeah, I mean, you can tell lots of work around that to get that in position, and that looks good. On the outside of that, I bet you got a cool shot too. I'm just going to click that right arrow and take it to the next. Lots of big trucks there. You're bringing in some cement and putting in some. Is this building a foundation here?
Yeah, this one is. Since our crew had grown, normally you don't pour out 3 trucks at the same time, but my boys were with me on this job, so this foundation, I think that particular house had like 28 corners, and all 3 of us were pouring out a truck at the same time, so it was pretty
28
impressive.
Corners?
Yes.
This is a pretty elaborate
foundation.
Pretty elaborate house.
Yeah.
that they're building there too. This is a little bit more of what was going on here.
Yeah, some of my boys down in just putting the rebar, getting the foundations prepped.
Gotcha. Yeah, digging these holes, you can tell. So here's now. Is that you've got something going on there? Is that smooth the cement? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
there?
trowel machine.
You're leveling a cement slab.
Trying to get it smooth. And one of my boys is working the edges there. We're just trying to put a smooth finish before they put the floor covering on. Get started.
Wow, it looks. Yeah, that's a pretty big. They're having some fun while they're doing the work. But that
Trying to teach my son. Yeah.
That just spins and makes it all smooth so that you have a nice finished cement foundation floor there. It looks like.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm just scrolling through these. Wow, you got lots of cement stuff. Some commercial stuff you do, I guess?
That was my family there, yeah.
Okay.
That's my kids and daughter.
Gotcha. And then here is, wow, what are we building here?
I'm trying to figure out where that was. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, look, whatever it was big. I mean, but yeah, you can see. And then, wow, there's another foundation. You're doing the basement, the whole.
Yep. I think that was a cabin that was overlooking a river we had built for a client.
Okay.
See the brick ledge on there, something to take the brick.
Wow. Okay. And some, like you can build a house from scratch. Is this a house that you? Where? Tell me
That's
what you.
it. So this one's in town, and that was a spec house to start with, and it seemed like when we had this as black and white, and since we had done that, it seems like every house that's built is black and white. So this was the house we had done in the subdivision, and actually sold before we had it completed. But it turned out it was very nice house.
I like that. Now you're clearing the land here too. You do it all.
Yep, clear the land, get it prepped, get it ready.
And a lot of those. What kind of machinery is that out there?
So we got an excavator, bobcat excavator, and a bobcat skid steer out there.
Skid steer.
Yeah.
Some decks.
Decks. That home we built from scratch. I think one of those was the foundation that you showed previously, and then we had added the patio and the deck. And this man had moved in from Washington and had a home built, and so that's nearing the end. Have some stairs and things to build in there, but we're getting close to the end.
Well, lots of great work out there. We got about a minute left here, Jason. Tell me, what is it that gives you the most satisfaction out of what you do?
Probably completing the project and then having somewhat of a relationship, with a homeowner. Just winning a friend, somebody that you can talk to. And make sure I had run into a homeowner yesterday, and we had done a little bathroom for him, and just conversation in town. I asked him if the bathroom had fallen apart yet, and he said no. He said did a great job, and that's the thing. You just want to do a good job, know who we work for and who we represent, and just get it accomplished. Try to help people.
Do good work. Do what you say. Try to help people. I like the way you finish up there. But if you're looking for an expert to do the work, everybody, this is somebody that has done it for 32 years. JD and Sons Complete Construction, LLC on there. Jason Davis. He's the owner, the founder, and the operator because he's out there still doing the work in the field. He's got lots of support with him. They even come all the way up here. They're in our studio here today. There she is. All right, everybody, stay tuned for more. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.